Well, the Prime Minister's condemned environmental activists for preventing the delivery of millions of newspapers this morning. Extinction Rebellion targeted newspaper printing presses in England and Scotland, accusing the media of failing to report climate change. 80 people have been arrested. Our Chief Environment Correspondent, Justin Rowlett, reports.
Crazy. What a turnout.
It was late last night when vans containing dozens of Extinction Rebellion protesters blocked the entrances to 3 printing presses owned by Rupert Murdoch's News Corporation. Some demonstrators locked themselves into elaborate bamboo structures. Others chained themselves together. As well as this plant in Hertfordshire, activists targeted presses in Merseyside and in North Lanarkshire. The protest meant delays delivering millions of newspapers this morning, including The Sun, The Times, The Daily Mail and The Daily Telegraph.
We're here because we feel the British media and political establishment are being complacent about the most existential threat Britain has ever faced.
72 people were arrested as police cleared the roads. Newspaper editors described the actions as an outrageous attempt to gag the press.
The actions of these protesters are so absurd that it would be considered laughable if it wasn't so serious. I think they need a good lesson in history and how the world works to understand what one presumes they don't understand, that these are the actions of totalitarian dictators and authorities throughout the world and throughout history. Shut down the message, attack a free press, which is exactly what they have done here.
This is the 5th day of protests by the Environmental Campaign Group. On Tuesday, perhaps 3,000 activists congregated outside Parliament, blocking the roads. Amongst them, the former Archbishop of Canterbury, Rowan Williams.
The police have begun to come into the crowd here in Parliament Square and arrest the protesters. There were clear guidelines about how this protest could be conducted. One of the rules was do not go into the road. Well, right at the beginning of the demonstration, when the protesters first congregated here in Parliament Square, they were encouraged to come into the road and block the streets.
There have been more than 600 arrests in London alone.
You're under arrest for criminal damage.
And Extinction Rebellion says 5 more days of actions are planned. Activists say targets will include fossil fuel companies, the fast fashion industry and government. So expect more disruption. Justin Rowlett, BBC News, London.
The Lightship Greta, the boat being pulled by Extinction Rebellion protesters from the south of England to London, has been forced by police to run aground in Kennington. And this afternoon, as its journey suddenly ended, a protester glued herself to the boat. Thomas McGill followed what happened.
A day of protest by Extinction Rebellion across the capital. One event here in South London, the Lightship Greta on its way to Hackney, hoping to raise awareness of the global climate emergency.
We don't really want to cause disruption. It's highlighting the ecological and climate emergency that we're already in the middle of. We're shining a light with a lightship, which is a beacon of hope, on that dark situation.
But shortly after chatting to Claudia, the protest was stopped. Well, the Lightship Greta and these protesters say they had an agreed route with the Metropolitan Police, but in the last few minutes they've been stopped here in Kennington and not allowed to go any further. Around 20 or so vans full of police have shown up. Organisers say they're being told they're not allowed to go any further. The protest did end here, and organisers estimate that over 200 officers were drafted in to help disperse the crowd. But Claudia was determined to make her point. Can you tell us what's happening?
The police have basically surrounded here. I don't understand on what basis. I know that we peacefully walked all the way from Brighton and had police liaison and support throughout, that we've basically been conned about what we were able to do.
Tell me through, what have you done?
I might have glued my hand to the boat. I don't want to move because I don't think this is right, that our free speech is being impeded.
Police say the organisers of today's march knew the Red Ship and its supporters did not have permission to enter central London. Those on the march disagree and say this move by the Met has been devastating.
I can't believe it. I'm actually really emotional at the moment because I've walked all the way from Brighton to be here to tell people about the climate emergency and about the people that are going to be disproportionately affected by it.
As for Claudia, her day will end in a police cell after she was arrested. A busy day for police, who say events like this put huge pressure on resources.
Over this summer in London, we've had many protests and other activities that we've had to deal with. The Extinction Rebellion protests come on the back of that and put even further strain on policing resources and bringing police officers into the centre of London, where they should be policing their communities.
The maiden voyage of the lightship Greta abruptly ended, its supporters devastated and its light out for good. Thomas McGill, BBC London.